I didn't mean to ruin his night. But judging by the way the entire cafe went silent the moment I walked in, I might as well have set the place on fire. There he was, Ethan Price, the man who made even the coldest New York nights feel warm. Except tonight he wasn't mine. He was leaning across a candlelit table toward someone else, laughing in that soft, low way that always made my chest ache. I had no plan, no excuse, just the raw, idiotic impulse to see him again. And now I was standing in the middle of his anniversary dinner, staring like a man who just stumbled into his own funeral. The air felt heavy, like the city before a storm. I thought maybe I could fake a quick hello, grab a coffee, and disappear before anyone noticed. But Ethan's eyes found me instantly, and God, they didn't hold anger. Not yet, just surprise. I'd known Ethan back when things weren't complicated. Back when we were neighbors, friends, then something more. Before I messed it up. Before I let my insecurities eat away at what we had. And now, at the next table, I could see his friends, the so-called alpha crew, from college, leaning in, whispering. Their eyes sparkled like hyenas spotting fresh meat. One of them, Mason, smirked. I'd bet good money that whatever was being discussed had something to do with me. I slid into a seat near the counter, trying to act invisible. But New York cafes weren't built for disappearing acts. Logan. Hearing my name in Ethan's voice felt like the first inhale after holding my breath for too long. He stood, walked over, every step echoing in my bones. You're here. It wasn't an accusation. Not exactly. But the warmth in his tone was dangerous, the kind that could make me forget why I'd left in the first place. Yeah, I said, my voice steady only because my hands were in my pockets. Just passing by. He raised a brow. Passing by in Brooklyn? At 8 p.m.? Right past my anniversary dinner. I tried to smile, but it came out crooked. Coincidence. From the other table, Mason called out, 20 says they're back together by Christmas. Laughter erupted. Ethan closed his eyes for half a second, and I could see the battle in him, amusement versus irritation. The night should have ended there. But fate, or maybe Mason's sick sense of humor, decided otherwise. Ethan's date had to leave early for some urgent call, and before I could blink, I was in Ethan's seat, sharing dessert. You've changed, he said, watching me over the rim of his coffee cup. Not enough to stop showing up uninvited, apparently, I said. He laughed. That laugh, the one that made the Alpha crew exchange knowing glances. In the days that followed, I kept running into him. Or maybe I let myself. A grocery aisle here, a subway platform there. Each time, the wall between us crumbled a little more. But it wasn't all soft smiles and casual touches. We fought. About the past. About how I'd walked away when things got real. About his fear that I'd do it again. One rainy night, after too much whiskey, he said, "You can't just crash my life, Logan, and expect me to forget." "I'm not asking you to forget," I said. "I'm asking you to let me try again." The bet became a running joke among his friends. They'd whisper odds every time we showed up at the same bar. Someone even made a group chat titled Project Ethan plus Logan. But slowly it stopped being about the bet. It became about us. About the way his hand would brush mine as we walked. About the way he'd watch me when he thought I wasn't looking. About the way my chest felt full, like maybe, just maybe, I could be the man he deserved this time. On Christmas Eve, Mason handed me an envelope. "Don't make me regret this," he said with a grin. Inside was the pot, a stack of cash I didn't want. But Ethan was there, shaking his head, laughing. "You know," he said, "we could split it, use it for something stupid, like a weekend in Vermont." I smiled. "Or something not stupid, like a future." He didn't answer right away. But then, his fingers laced through mine, and for the first time since that night in the cafe, I knew. This time I wasn't going to leave. Snow fell that night in slow, lazy spirals, catching in Ethan's hair and melting against the heat of his skin. We were standing outside the cafe where everything had started or restarted depending on how you looked at it. Inside, the Alpha crew was still buzzing, laughing, clinking glasses in a celebration that wasn't supposed to be about us but somehow was. I should hate you for walking in that night, Ethan said, his breath fogging in the cold. I should have told you to leave. I should have told myself I was over you. And, I asked, stepping just close enough for our boots to touch. And I'm glad I didn't. The streetlight above us hummed faintly, turning the snow into a halo around him. I'd seen Ethan happy before, but never like this, not the careful, guarded smiles from our past, but something raw and open. I reached into my pocket and pulled out Mason's envelope. I don't want their money, I said, offering it to him. Feels like they're betting on something that's not a game. Ethan took it, looked at it for a moment, then ripped it in half. The scraps of paper fluttered to the ground like broken snowflakes. They can keep their bets, he said. We don't need them. And just like that, the space between us disappeared. His hands found my face, cold fingers warming against my skin, and he kissed me slow, certain, like we were making up for every moment lost. Somewhere inside, Mason probably owed someone $50. Somewhere else, the city went on not caring about our little story. But here, on this quiet Brooklyn street, with snow falling and his heart against mine, I knew this wasn't just about winning him back. It was about never losing him again. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.